This is where the fun begins.
But we've seen this movie before.
What's Sam Pittman known for?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Is the Arkansas athletic program cursed? But you never know what the loudest mouth in the fan base and his wild band of misfits are going to say.
I have a river of Kool-Aid for basketball.
It's time to step inside the Hawg Pen with your hosts, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. As you can see, the goose of the group is not here, so I have Iceman with me this week. Hope everybody had a great week. I am, of course, your host from the Central Arkansas Hawg Pen, Razorback Zach, alongside not the glue, more like duct tape at the moment, but D-Man. Right now,
acknowledge me.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna. Not yet. You might later in the show, but not yet. What's up, D-Man?
And just another day.
So, before we jump into tonight's topics, which are good ones, besides baseball and softball, later tonight we're going to be having a debate. It is Season's Over versus the Sunshine Pumper. And we're going to play a little game called Can We Piss Off the Fan Base?
Answer is yes.
Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But before we get on to all that, I got a couple of announcements. Make sure you guys check out the Final Jump Shot from Cam Productions. Our boy Marcus MC Carlton hosting that over there. If you want to learn about the lost legends of Arkansas or high school hoops, that is the podcast to learn it in, to listen into, to learn from. While you're at it, check out ITHP. All of our archived episodes, along with some special things, are on our podcast channel with a lot more things to come down the pipe. Like, for instance, we have a special episode of our rivalry with the University of Texas. We have games at War Memorial, why we should not be at War Memorial anymore, and others, NIL, things like that. But right now, I have a big DMAD. We got a huge, as the president would say, huge announcement. I got a phone call. Well, I got a text message, I'd say about 3 hours ago-ish, from ITHP Royalty. Casey Sutton messaged me, and there she is. And I have a very special announcement that I get to do. I get to do this, and this is the coolest thing I've gotten to do, because she has added another notch in her win column. You know, you like to put your finger to the sky, right? Well, it's time to put our finger to the sky for Casey, because she's kicked cancer's ass a fourth straight time. She has kicked breast cancer's ass 4 straight times. She is undefeated. So congratulations, Casey. We're all rooting for you out here at Inside the Hawg Pen. D-Mad.
What's up, buddy?
Madre is watching.
My mother is here. Yes.
Madre is watching.
I have to be on my best behavior.
Do you?
Especially now that, child on the way. Have to be on my best behavior. But guess what?
You got a couple.
Speaking of children.
Oh boy. See, I don't have to be in my best behavior.
Well, that's true.
Well, I kind of do. But, for those of you that don't know, Crazy Child is my daughter, Chloe. She's now a sophomore going into the fall. Sophomore? Good God. Holy crap. That makes me feel old. All right.
Just that.
Oh, wait a minute. We have a new fan back. And not to mention, she is my girlfriend. Amy is in the house. What's up, Amy? And I'm just going to say this right here.
Hey, I got something to tell you on Friday.
Uh-oh.
I hit Zach with something this morning, and he busted out of his senior sport. I got you for Friday.
I died laughing. All right, so let's get to what everybody wants to talk about tonight. And that is the softball and the baseball team. First off, because here's the thing. Let's talk about softball for a minute. First time since 2022, they have reached the Super Regionals, and they will host the Super Regionals at Bogle Park. And I tell you right now, dude, Bri Ellis still on a tear. So my question to you right now, D, can they do it? They're playing Ole Miss in the Super Regional. Can they pull it off and get to Oklahoma City?
I think they, we struggled against Ole Miss earlier this year, I believe. Could be wrong. I'm wrong. No, we went 1-2 against Ole Miss earlier in the season, but that was at Ole Miss. So, whenever it comes to softball and baseball, it's always a crapshoot. And, just thinking about it, I Bogle Park, the same thing as Baum Stadium, it's going to be a lot of people there. It's not going to be like Ole Miss's softball field. And then, our biggest question is right now, away from Bri Ellis, can other people step up outside of Bri Ellis? Because that's going to be the biggest thing. If they've got nobody on base, you can just expect Bri Ellis to not see a strike. Yeah. But if we got people on base and they've got no outs, it's probably going to be a bad idea to walk her at that point. But it's also a bad idea to pitch to her. So
the downside to the game against Oklahoma State, she went over. I think that was her first hitless game. But they still, but with her going over, they still pulled the win out. They still pulled. So that tells you the rest of the lineup, especially those behind her.
Not only that, they won 12-0.
Yeah, they kicked some serious booty. Can't say I guess I can, but But yeah, I mean, and the thing is she also got national. She not only got SEC Player of the Year, she got National Player of the Year. First time.
Some would say that she sits on a throne, right?
I know where you're going with that. First time in program history that a Razorback softball player was named not only SEC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, and her tear through the SEC and through softball is still going on.
Mm-hmm. And I saw a graphic the other day, and people are starting to pick up on her nationally. I think the MLB Network was covering her at one point. This guy on Twitter and on YouTube named John Boy, he's the guy that reads lips and everything. He's starting to kind of hone in on her too. Right. And it's just a lot of stuff going on around it that people are starting to pick up on. I think John Boy even kind of posted a picture of her stats and said she's top 5 in everything. And she's a leader in almost everything in the NCAA. This stuff hasn't ever happened.
But that also goes back to the kind of culture that Courtney Deifel has slowly built over the 7-year period. Because here's the thing that most people don't understand. Yes, Arkansas softball before Courtney Deifel was pretty much on life support. All right. 5 of the 7 years that she's been here, or no, 7 of, was she been here 7 or 9?
I think she's been here for about 9.
Anyway, 7 of those 9 years, she's been in the postseason. Now they weren't deep runs in the postseason, but still, they were still relevant. This year, unless they play Oklahoma,
this is her 10th year.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's what I thought. Unless they play Oklahoma, which seems to be Arkansas's kryptonite, I think they're going to do it. I think they can pull this off. But the problem is, you're playing in Oklahoma City. There is a high probability you're going to see Oklahoma for the third time. So maybe third time's a charm in more ways than one. Maybe third time is the charm where they can finally beat Oklahoma and bring home a national title. Now, that being said, it's a great segue into my next topic I want to talk to you about. All right.
Who would that be?
How wild would it be if Courtney Deifel and the softball team brings home a national title before DVH?
God, Twitter's going to be insufferable that week. God, it's going to be awful.
I mean, it's already
calling for DVH's head.
They're already calling for his head, dude. Have you not seen it?
Listen.
They've been calling
for his head. It's never as bad as people think it is, but it's also never as good as people think it is. It's somewhere in the middle. Everybody, outside of the SEC talks about DVH being the greatest, or outside Arkansas being the greatest coach in the SEC. And then you have people in Arkansas that are just, depressed that we haven't won at all. I know people hate hearing it. I know they do. Baseball is so crazy, man. It's so hard.
What did you call it the other day? A fickle sport?
Probably. I mean, you have one thing go wrong, and all of a sudden, guess what, Zach? Season's over.
Yeah.
You have one thing go wrong.
Here's the kicker, though. Here's the kicker. All right. We lost 3 straight. Did I come out and say season's over? No.
No, because I would have drove down the street.
No, well, that too. But here's the thing. Baseball doesn't go off of single losses. They go off a series win. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase that. They do go off of win-loss records. Okay, they do. All right, but they also what plays into account a lot bigger and a lot more than just that record is the series wins, not just the single game wins.
And another thing is there's not a whole lot of looking at run differential. In baseball you have basketball and football. If you get blown out by a team, they're going to start to take that a little bit more seriously. But in baseball, if you lose 2 games and then you win 1, but the one that you win, you win by 10 runs, nobody's going to take that really seriously. If you lose 2 games close and then, win the 3rd game close, I mean, they're going to take that a little bit seriously, but they're not just going to.
D-Mad, we're gonna bring in the wise man here. He's been hanging out with us here lately. Brand new to the show. Been an off-air talent for a while. Is trying his hand at on-air talent. Wise man, what do you got for us?
You just call me a talent? Are you lying to these people? No.
What man? You're a talent. What the hell does that make me? Don't answer that, Dylan. Shut up, Dylan. Shut up.
Go ahead, Loki. What you got for me?
The answer to that question is a face for radio. Now,
amen.
You know what I'd like to see if softball wins the Natty? Honestly, I'd like to see us do like other schools do. Actually celebrate and hold on to that win instead of trashing all our other teams. Wouldn't that be great?
That's a novel concept you came up with.
Wait a minute. I require further explanation from the wise man.
It just be happy we got a Natty since what, 94?
Well,
it's instead of like being all like.
Do you count the 50-something national titles that we got in track?
Does anybody else?
I mean,
after you get about to 30, I think people stop caring as much. But when you're up to 50, then it's kind of impressive.
We should count those because, if nothing else, here in Arkansas, we run good. But,
but we can't run the football.
We run good, just not in pads. But
hey, you say that. Jordan Anthony transferred here from Texas A&M. He is a wide receiver. Did he set a record or did he set a personal record?
He set a personal record.
In the 60-yard dash, won the national or the SEC outdoor championship and indoor championship.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he transferred away from Arkansas, and then he transferred back to Arkansas. Or am I thinking?
No, he never came to Arkansas.
Or am I another? Or am I thinking of another Jordan?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what Jordan you're thinking of, but he never came to Arkansas.
Ran so fast, Zach doesn't know what he's talking about.
Look, I've been calling Nate Thompson Nate Carpenter for 5 months. So
no, just if softball wins, that doesn't mean we need to crap all over baseball. Why can't we just be happy with the national title? Why is that such a crazy idea?
You really want to jump into that right now? I got an answer for you.
Shoot, let's go.
Because nobody looks at the program as a whole. They look at each individual sport. And if you're not a fan of that sport, it's here. Okay. For those of you, all right, I'm going to warning shot. For those of you that know me, I'm about to get on my soapbox, so y'all get comfortable. Here's the problem. All right. Arkansas fans are, that 2 words describe Arkansas right now, the fan base. Instant gratification. They want to win. They want to win right now. They want to win in a relevant sport. By that I mean football, basketball, or baseball. Those are the money makers. All right. Nobody, look, I'm sick and tired of seeing Bogle Park so sporadic and sparse. Okay. You can make it to baseball, but you can't make it to softball. You can make it to football, but you can't make it to softball. I mean, they want to win. And the thing is, one's not good enough. In softball, it's not going to be good enough. They're always going to find a problem with it.
Here's the thing about softball winning a national championship. We just talked about our track team and how many national titles and conference titles they have. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma has set the standard for softball. If we go in and win a national title in softball, it's going to mean a lot. But at the same time, people are going to instantly look over at DVH instantly and start talking crap about DVH. And it's just because some of these people on Twitter cannot enjoy life. They have to make everybody's life worse. Well, what about it, DVH? Yeah, I'm going there, Zach. Gloves off. We've talked about it, bud. Go ahead.
Go out and touch grass. That's all I'm saying. Okay? These are the – all right, if we're going to go gloves off, here we go. Lord forgive me. These are the same fans that complain about not winning it in baseball, not talking about softball enough. Well, when we talk about softball, we get crapped on. All right? When we try to show appreciation, they're the same ones that jump all over people about an AI image.
I will tell you this.
That's the thing is these are the people I want to see celebrating softball and not crapping all over baseball.
They're going to crap. I mean, look, when Calipari wins.
These type of people, I've encountered them at football games. Whenever we played South Carolina and Spencer Rattler, we were up by 30 at one point, and they just kind of crept back into the game. But, we decided that, we're going to run the ball the entire game. And guess what? We were averaging 5 yards a carry. It didn't matter what happened. And then all of a sudden I hear behind me, "Run the ball." I'm like, why? So we can stop the clock? We're not good at running the ball.
I mean,
or we're not good at throwing the ball.
No.
We were good at running it at the time.
And we're going to get into that because I got something special for the debate later on. But the problem is, here's the problem. When Calipari wins a national title in his second year with basketball, everybody's going to look at football and go, okay, when are y'all going to win one? They're going to look at baseball and go, 2018 was about as close as they get, because we all know. Here's the problem. All right. And I'm about as guilty of it as the next guy, D. All right.
I'm probably going to agree.
Well, probably. We base the next season on the results from the previous season.
It's a graph. Are you growing or are you regressing?
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Pittman's first year, 4-8. I mean, it's an improvement on the
3-7.
No, it was 3-7. Yeah, it was an improvement on the Chad Morris experience. Then, yeah, still an improvement. Had what, 4 more SEC teams on the schedule that year?
Yeah,
but
because that was a COVID year.
Year after that, you win. What was it? 9 games.
He went 9-3.
Yeah, you win. No, it was 9-4. We went 8-4 in the regular season, 9 wins in the.
9-4. You're right.
So, I mean, we had 9 wins, and then you followed up with a 6-win, a 4-win, and a 6-win.
Not only that, D. Not only that. Okay, you limped into the bowl game against Kansas, and you took a mediocre Kansas team, a very mediocre Kansas team, and it took you 3 overtimes to beat them when you were up by 17 at half.
And you had a quarterback that was all Arkansas for years at this point. I'm gonna throw him out there. I have his jersey on the back of my chair here, KJ. Sorry, man, but you didn't want to go to the NFL. You thought you had made it.
Yeah,
it's on you, man.
Yeah, but anyway, that's why. That's that's why everybody's going to crap on the fact that softball won it before TVH, before Sam Pittman. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, we could take a hint from like a certain retirement state, like look how excited they are that like basketball just won.
Oh,
they're over the moon. They forgot that their football team sucks. They set that aside for a minute because they're so excited that their basketball team's good.
I will not speak ill of Florida fans because my brother is marrying a Florida alum. So I am going to be nice. She is also a Texas alum, and I've told her my feelings on that. But
shut up, Dylan.
She is a Florida alum, and they welcomed me in at the Florida-Texas game. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, shut up.
Do we need to pick a different school? Is that
actually the Florida fans were all really nice? There was not like a lot of. I mean, they saw it as we're here to have fun. We're here to watch this team, and a lot of the I think if Arkansas would have had Billy Napier this year, he would have been gone by the end of the year. And then guess what? He turned around the season halfway through. I mean, I was talking to a lot of the Florida fans, and they were like, Amy said, shut up, Dylan. Yep, yes. That's what I have to tell myself. I do tell myself that. But the Florida fans, they were like, man, he's not as bad as people are making him out to be. There's a lot of patience that had to go with it. Arkansas fans don't have patience anymore. They don't.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the people in Florida fist fight hurricanes too. So, I mean, they're a different breed.
I will not speak ill of Florida alumni.
I'm not speaking ill of them either. Anybody who fist fights hurricanes deserves my respect.
You're not going to get me on it. You're not going to get me on it.
All right. Before we go to break and get to our debate of the night, a couple of other more sports that we're going to talk about just briefly. Golf.
National champs. But nobody talk about it.
I'm gonna Maria José Marin wins the individual NCAA title, and Arkansas advanced to match play. But their historic season, ranked number 2, ends in the quarterfinals. But again, it's a historic season. And then, of course, track doing track things, man.
Track's gonna track.
Track's doing just track things, man.
Yeah, but I believe the men got another natty, didn't they?
No, it's conference.
That's conference title.
Might as well.
Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. I know it's going to be early, but we've got our debate of the night coming up, and it is Season's Over, yours truly, versus the Sunshine Pumper over here. And we're going to debate a little football. We're going to debate a little football. We're going to have a little fun tonight. Season's wrapping up, and we're going to do something. Before we go, let me hit this D real quick.
Got it.
Right here. As you know, we'd like to do this from time to time, but we got a very special birthday in the ITHP family. Little Davis Carlton. I think he's 9, 10, 11 years old today.
You just had to put me on the spot, man. You just had to.
I'm like that. Hey, I'm not putting you on the spot because I don't remember either. But he is the son of the glue that holds the whole thing together. He's more like Scotch tape right now with his age.
He is the. I'm just holding the place. He is the actual executive producer.
He is, and show. We have video proof that he has come after the EP spot. He's got to grow a beard, though. Have you noticed, Loki, how each of our executive producers all have beards behind the boards?
What was it Dylan was saying a minute ago about you're not going to wrangle me into this one? Except he said it a lot faster. I'm just saying. No.
Shut up, Zach. So before we go to break, we got to talk about a little bit of baseball. Happy birthday, Davis. We got to talk a little baseball though. Bri Ellis was the queen of of softball. Well, Wehiwa Aloy has been the king of baseball in the SEC. He was named earlier. Was it this week or last
earlier
week?
this week.
Oh, this week. It's been a long week.
Right.
Named SEC Player of the Year over a guy named Liam Doyle, who got absolutely shell-shocked in Baum Stadium. Also in the running for National Player of the Year, but he has not been named it yet. But, Zach, just go ahead and talk about the Terminator. I mean, Wehiwa Aloy.
That's what I'm saying. And he's also in line for the Golden Spikes, dude. He's also a semifinalist for the Golden Spikes. And that's the thing. He is the Terminator. All right.
Yeah,
7. My bad. He's 7. I overshot it.
I mean, he acts like he's 8, 9, 10.
That, right. But
the
when you
purest form of consistency at the shortstop position.
It's almost like, how Bri Ellis, when she steps up to the plate, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a Bogle bomb.
If they pitch to her.
Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing with Wehiwa Aloy. All right. It's kind of the same thing if you think about it.
He's definitely getting on base. He's putting the ball in play. He doesn't swing and miss at a whole lot right now. Going back to what Braxton Burnside easily said about, seeing a beach ball. She didn't know how she did it, but it just seems like, the ball slows down. She can see the spin. I mean, Wehiwa just might be in the zone right now. And, we talk about his hitting abilities, but that dude's a vacuum at shortstop. I think,
he has made some
hold
outstanding plays at shortstop, dude.
I hold Jack Spiggers in high regard from that 2018 team.
Right.
He was a defensive stopper at shortstop. There was nothing that got past him. He made few errors, but I mean, every player makes errors. But, I kind of put Wehiwa at that same level of Jack Spiggers. I mean, he's just insane. He has a crazy arm. He's making the Derek Jeter plays. I mean, he's just, if there's a ball in his area, he's getting to it.
So, all right, it's that time. We're going to go get prepped for a debate. On the other side of the break, it's the Sunshine Pumper, D-Mad, versus Season's Over, yours truly, Razorback Zach. You're listening to Inside the Hawg Pen. Back right after this.
Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
Hey, Hog fanatics. We at Inside the Hawg Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not so good deal. As a special offer, Hog fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
Attention Razorback fans and local businesses. Are you ready to reach the most passionate Arkansas sports fans out there? Introducing Inside the Hawg Pen, not your normal Razorback talk show. We're fans first and don't try to hide it. No agendas, no propaganda. At Inside the Hawg Pen, we call it like we see it. And now we're looking for sponsors to join the team. This is your chance to put your brand in front of thousands of loyal Razorback fans who live and breathe Arkansas sports. From small businesses to major brands, we have sponsorship packages tailored just for you. So let's grow together and make Inside the Hawg Pen bigger and better. Don't miss out. Call 501-416-4331 or email us today at insidethehogpen@gmail.com and become a proud sponsor of Inside the Hawg Pen.
It's time to step back inside the Hog Pen to the Meeks Design Studios.
Hi, welcome back inside the Hog Pen. Okay, so here we go. As the season is drawing to a close on baseball and softball and all the spring sports, on the horizon, on the very far horizon, is the sport of football. Everybody's favorite. Well, most everybody. But the problem is, I feel like apathy has kind of set in with the football team. So I called upon D-Mad because let's face it, last season, starting in football, I had to freaking acknowledge him almost every freaking week. Pissed me off. So I called upon him and I said, hey, man, I need you to debate me and tell me why Arkansas is going to have a successful season. Because let's face it, if you know D-Mad is the sunshine bumper. It's always got something positive to say. Sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. So here we go. I just don't see. Somebody tried to tell me the other day, Dylan, that they saw 8-9 wins on the schedule. Now, let me run down the schedule real quick.
I'm about to put it up. I
got it right here. All right.
Well,
So
I'm going to put it on the screen.
You're good. So you're kicking off the season with Alabama A&M. And then you have the game that will get Sam Pittman fired, Arkansas State.
Okay.
All right. And then you travel to Ole Miss. And then you go to Memphis. You come home for Notre Dame. And then you have the stretch. You have 3 games there. That's probably a tough stretch. You have at Tennessee. You have A&M at home. And you're at Auburn. I'm sorry, you're home against
Auburn at home.
You're home against Auburn. And then you have Mississippi State, at LSU, at Texas, and at home against Missouri. There's your games right there.
So here's the
Somebody
thing.
tell me.
If we're looking at this schedule, we have to mark 2 games as losses right off the bat because we.
Let me guess those 2 games.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just guess those 2 games. Most people are going to say Notre Dame. And the other one's going to be Tennessee.
Wrong.
Am I 1 out of 2?
2 games we have to mark off the schedule right now.
All right.
Ole Miss.
I swear to God, if you say the other burnt orange team, I quit here.
No, we're not going to talk about them. The other, so we got to mark off Ole Miss and we got to mark off Missouri as of right now. We have.
I hate admitting that. God.
Dork has our number, man. Dork has our number. And it is what it is at this point, but let's go down the schedule. Alabama A&M. And before we go down, I was talking to you about this the other day. I think there's a lot about people talking about names on, like the name on the front of the jersey. I don't think that, call them program wins. Notre Dame's going to win this game because they're that program. Arkansas is going to beat Memphis because Arkansas is the bigger program. I don't think that's how this is going to work anymore because I think that the playing field has been a lot leveled because you have these players that will just up and leave and go to the highest paid player or at the highest paid place. So with that being said, I think Notre Dame's lost a lot of their roster from last year. I don't have a lot of respect for them since they won close against Navy and lost to Northern Illinois. There it is. So just going down this here, Alabama A&M is a win, obviously. Arkansas State, sorry, brother, is a win. Ole Miss, that's going to be a loss. So the problem with the Ole Miss game is historically we've played well at Ole Miss. So the game's going to be close, but Lane Kiffin has understood for 2 years now the Travis Williams defense because they put up 70 last year against us, and then we're going to turn around and expect him to forget how to play against Travis Williams. I don't see that happening. Memphis, they're always decent, but I don't see us going into Memphis and losing like Mississippi State did on a wild punt return,
That was crazy.
So I'm going to say at this point, we're going to be about 3-1. Then we're going to get to these 50-50 games. Notre Dame's not going to play in a stadium in the next 5 years. That's going to sound like Razorback Stadium.
I disagree.
Well, they have.
Let me explain why.
Years they have been traveling. They went to A&M last year, but I just don't think that they're going to be. They went to A&M last year and struggled against A&M.
They did. However, let me explain why I don't.
Go ahead.
Why you're wrong about Notre Dame. Well, okay. Why your assumption is wrong, not you're wrong. In the society, you can't say you're wrong because people get pissy.
Man, we can disagree that we're all adults here.
You're still my brother.
Your child.
Yeah. Well, she thinks she's an adult. Here's the thing. Notre Dame, yes. If Arkansas, how do I put this? If Arkansas was a true contender, a true quote unquote relevant program, yeah, the fan base will have an impact on that game because there's not another stadium in the country that can get as loud as Arkansas fans. Sorry, I said it. When we're on one, we're on one. But the problem is scroll back up for me.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
You see that game at the top of the screen right there?
Arkansas State.
That is not going to be a guaranteed win. Sorry, that's not going to be a guaranteed win. If Sam loses this game, he's done. The fan base is going to be done with him, and nobody's going to come to the Notre Dame game. And then what are you going to do? Okay? Then what are you going to do? Because now you're talking the same level of stupidity. Yeah, I said it. Not to the fans, though. That Chad Morris was in. And everybody's using the argument of Sam's been to the postseason so many times. Doesn't matter. If you can't beat little brother, you can't coach the Razorback. I'm sorry. Unless he pulls a Billy Napier out of his butt, which I don't think he will.
Got to interject a little bit here. I think people are going to show up to the Notre Dame game regardless of if we win against A-State or not, because it's Notre Dame. That team has like name brand recognition, and they're not coming around here very often. That doesn't mean they're not going to hate Sam, but they're going to show up just because it's Notre Dame.
I see. I got to disagree. Because look at what happened. Look at what happened when the losses started piling up against Morris. The fans just quit yelling.
So at this point, are you saying that Arkansas is going to lose against Arkansas State? I want you on the record for this.
Hold on, D. Hold on. Chad Morris made Ty Story at Western Kentucky, who was the former quarterback at Arkansas, mind you. He made Ty Story in that game against Western Kentucky look like a Pro Bowler. Look like an all-star quarterback. So, no, I don't think we win against Arkansas State.
Okay.
I don't. I will go on record and say that is a loss.
So what makes you think we're going to lose against them?
Funny you should say that.
Because I before you answer this question, I'm going to say I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Arkansas State has always been little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And when you call them little brother for 70 years at this point,
that would be 75.
They're going to come out pissed off. And I think you're correct that it's going to be close at the start. I don't think that we're going to get out and it's just going to be a throttling. I could be wrong on this. I don't know who's on A-State's roster, but they're going to come out motivated.
Here's the thing. You want to know the biggest factor and the biggest weakest link for Arkansas on offense? Taylon Green. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. His mechanics on top of his accuracy is what killed the season last year.
What do you mean when you say mechanics? Are you saying like throwing off the back foot?
Yeah, he can't. Look. I don't know much about how quarterbacks throw or whatever. Okay, I don't. I've analyzed the game of football since I was 15 years old. All right. Here's the problem, and I'm gonna call it like I see it. You've got a cannon for an arm. You have to learn how to get the ball to the receiver. What was his biggest problem last year? He kept overthrowing his receivers or throwing it at their feet. He got to hit him in the chest. So that must mean his mechanics are off. Yes or no?
Yes, and I'll tell you what the mechanics were. The mechanics were timing. Timing and reading. He didn't trust his eyes the entire year.
That's what I was getting there.
But here's the thing about a Bobby Petrino quarterback.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson wasn't Lamar Jackson until his second year. Ryan Mallett was really good, but also Ryan Mallett had a transfer year where he sat down the entire season. Tyler Wilson sat behind Ryan Mallett for an entire season. Shall I continue? Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is a heck of a quarterback too. It all takes time. The point is that, yes, Taylor's biggest problem last year was throwing off his back foot, running 50 yards backwards, and not knowing when to slide the protection or when to trust the protection or knowing when he's hot. When you say when you're hot, that means that you have a blitz coming and you got to get the ball out right now. That is a right now ball. You have to get it out.
Okay, let me ask you this. On average, from the time he snapped the ball to the time he released it was what? 3, maybe 4 seconds?
I would say closer to 4 seconds, which is not good.
No, it needs to be what? A second and a half, maybe 2?
A normal. So you have players on the field that are running 4.40s. You're not throwing the ball 40 yards a play. You need to have. This is literally snap, 1, 2, 3, ball out. 1, 2, 3, ball out.
Okay.
You have reads that are snap, ball out. You know.
Oh, you have Taylor. Okay, here's the problem with Taylor. I don't mean to interrupt. But here's the problem with Taylor. Here's my problem with Taylor right now. Okay. You snap the ball. You got about a second and a half to make a decision. Then the goofball, because I'm not going to call him no dirty names. The goofball runs 15 yards just to gain 3.
Yes, that was last year.
Now,
Lamar Jackson didn't do that in his second year.
I'm about to do it again, and I feel like I've done this every week since football season. You're not wrong.
I don't know what that means.
You're not wrong. Again, I could be completely wrong next year. Okay?
I could be too.
I could be. Because here's why. We haven't heard diddly crap out of football all spring. We haven't. And you know what? If I've read it right, they've got the 14th ranked recruiting class.
You're probably right. I haven't looked at it. But
did you know? I mean, again, did you know?
Isaac Tesla wasn't highly recruited. Andrew Armstrong wasn't highly recruited. We're not going for the flashy names right now. We're seeing what's happening. You know, we can't afford everything out on the table. We're not going to afford Ryan Williams. We're not going to afford Jameis. What's his name? The Alabama guy that started at Ohio State. We're not going to be able to afford him. We're not going to be able to afford Quinn Ewers, which to this point, I don't think Quinn Ewers progressed once. As his whole time in college.
For as much crap as I give him, look for Manning to be the starter at Texas next year.
The thing is about Eli Manning, Arch Manning, he runs the ball. He runs the ball a lot. And that got hidden because he was second string quarterback. He's a big old guy. He's kind of quick. Alabama has some big boys
Right.
too.
I want to bring in the wise man real quick. Wise man, you with us?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay, so let me get your take on all of this. All right, is Taylor Green the weak link on offense for Arkansas?
I think he was last year. Yeah, for starting. This year, I mean that remains to be seen. I'm hearing he could be Lamar Jackson. He could be last year's Taylor Green. He could be Dak Prescott, and you could both be right.
Sorry to cut you off. He doesn't need to be Lamar Jackson. He needs to play a game that suits Taylor Green.
That's true.
And I got to put Dan's comment up here. We have the most apathetic coach in the country. So, yes, apathy sets in by design. And there's a lot of truth to that, man. Because
leave his comment up here. Leave his comment up there.
Okay. There's a lot of truth to this because, Pitt's first couple of years here, he was fiery, man. He would go back at the fans and he loved embracing the fans, but there's not been this big of a disconnect between the fans and the football team in a very long time. You had Musselman come in and he literally just stood in the student section trying to hype up the team. You don't have Sam trying to be one with the students or just even try to be a part of the university. That's the bad part about it.
I posed this question to MC, and it's actually in our intro. It's in both of our intros for the podcast and for the radio show on Friday mornings. What is Sam Pittman known for? I don't know.
Now,
when he hold on, Loki. When he started in on that and unable to answer the hard questions, that's when the fan base, including myself, started to lose faith, and it hasn't. It's regressed every single year since.
And I think he's kind of just thrown his hands up at certain situations too, because it doesn't feel like he's fighting for the job. It feels like he's just, all right, man, let's go out and recruit. Bobby, go ahead and run the offense. Travis, run the defense.
Why he was so fiery those first couple of years?
Because he loved being here.
There's another factor there you're forgetting.
Go ahead.
Barry Odom.
It's true.
Barry Odom was that fiery coach. Okay. Barry Odom, remember how he was at Missouri? For all the crap we gave him at Missouri, he was not one of those, slide by under the radar coaches. He wasn't an apathetic coach. He'd get in your face. All right. You've got Bobby, who has been tempered, who has been humbled, who has been humiliated, who just wants to run the offense. All he wants to do. He's not being. I don't think he is the. I'll say it. The conscience that Barry Odom was to Sam Pittman. I don't. Now, again, I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. I don't. I could be completely wrong, like I normally am, and this whole thing blow up in my face, and Arkansas go 10-2. I don't see it.
Well, even Brooks Ellis said it when we had him on the radio show. It's hard to be a fan right now because, like, with NIL and everything that's going on around football or the athletic department, it's so hard to be connected to the team when they're not wanting to be connected to you. How many times
they'd rather watch Polar Express?
How many times did basketball and baseball? How often do you hear them in interviews talk about, acknowledging the fans and, appreciating the fans? And then you get to football and they're like, yeah, man, we appreciate the fans. I mean, it was really great for them to come out. And there's no backup to it. Shut up, Zach. I know what you're thinking. There's nothing to back it up. Like, it just frustrates me as a lifelong Razorback fan, it just frustrates me to see that the players don't care. You heard it last year whenever I said it last week, and I'll say it again. DJ Williams says that one of these offensive linemen come up to him and say, "This guy doesn't treat me with respect." Do you know who the hell coached DJ Williams? Like, stop. You're never going to learn anything. And that's what I have a lot of respect for when it comes to O-line coach right now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Eric, it's not Mateos, is it?
Yes, Mateos.
Look at me. Coming in clutch.
He's just from what DJ had said, there seems to be, hey, look at this word, the buzzword of all buzzwords, accountability. And some people didn't like the accountability and they left. And I'm going to give credit to one offensive lineman, Keyshawn Blackstock. You know, he came into last year and everybody thought he was the prima donna. Oh, they didn't meet my NIL demands. Well, if Mateos was that bad of a butt, I'm being nice, and Keyshawn Blackstock was the guy that, oh, I don't have to take this. Well, why didn't he leave then? Because at this point, I mean, you can just leave. But Keyshawn Blackstock saw that he's getting coached and said, you know what, I'm going to stay because this is probably what's best for me. I'm winning you over right now, aren't I, Zach? Shut up, Dylan. I know.
No, not yet. Here's the thing, though, D-Mad, is again, and it's like I said at the beginning of the debate, Arkansas fans only base the following season on the previous season because that's all we have to go on. There was no video footage of football because here's the thing. In years past, they put up these hype videos and everybody starts drinking the freaking Kool-Aid and they start, oh, we're going to go 8-4, 9-3, 10-2, 11-1, 12-0. Here's the thing. Arkansas can't do that.
I think to expect something that you haven't achieved consistently in a decade plus is very ignorant. Like, I expect this today's form, just looking at the program, we'll probably get 7 wins. It's maybe 6. I don't see us going 5-4. I don't just based on where we have been consistently since Sam Pittman has gone here. I don't see us going lower than 6 this year. Okay, but I also am not going to sit here and say that we're going to be at 8-9 wins because in the reality of the situation, there's no way of backing that up.
Okay, but wait a minute. Okay, just hold the hell up a minute. Okay,
I stumped him.
I won't accept anything less than mediocrity.
All right, stupid person.
Yeah, well, I'm not the brightest crayon in the sea or the fastest turtle in the shed. So here's the thing. All right. We have been mediocre at best. The bar is 6-6. When you've got Missouri, look at the records between Eli Drinkwitz and Lane Kiffin and Sam Pittman right now. All of those coaches were hired at the same time. All right. They all started the 2020 season as their first year in the SEC. Look at where Lane Kiffin is. Lane Kiffin has almost been contending for a national title. The dork has a better record than us right now overall in the SEC. He does. But you're trying to tell me this dude was 5th on the head coaching list per Hunter Yurachek, which means these two guys we're ahead of him. Josh Heupel over at Tennessee. Guess what? Has Tennessee up there back relevant again? You're telling me that Pittman, after 5 or 6 years, 6-6 is the best he can do? You're telling me that we're dependent on an Arkansas State, a Memphis, or a Notre Dame game to get us to 6-6?
Yeah. Here's the thing about the schedule.
This is why the fan base has just completely given up on football. They want to be look. I'm going to give them credit. You're not going to go 12-0. You're not going to go 11-1. You're not going to go 10-2. Okay, you're just not in the competition in the SEC that you've got with Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas, and Oklahoma. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
You said Georgia weird.
Well, we don't play Georgia though.
We don't play Alabama either.
Well, y'all gonna make me say a wordy dirt. Shut up, Dylan. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing about that. We used to be at best an 8-4 team, and everybody was good with it. You had the occasional 10-2. But have we really sunk so low as a program that 6-6, which should be the baseline, which should be the worst time kind of season, is now the best Arkansas can do? Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
You're gonna look at
Wait. I forgot. I don't donate, so therefore I don't have a voice.
There it is. I think that
everybody that says that, go to hell.
I think looking at the program as it is, you have to be a little. If you're looking at the program and seeing where the program is today as of 5/21/25, you have to be honest with yourself. We're not a contender. We will not be a contender with Sam Pittman at the helm. I'm going to say it right now. Ole Miss.
The other thing,
so much money going to that dadgum Ole Miss game.
The other thing you've got to consider, and you're absolutely right. You're not going to be a contender with Sam Pittman at the helm, but you're also not going to be a contender with an athletic director that is not listening, A, to the fan base, and B, who has publicly come out against time and time again NIL, and then turns around and asks the fan base for $100 a month. Because says, hey, look at me. We raised $280,000. Show me, Rupp. Didn't even thank the fans. And that's why
I didn't really care about that tweet so much. But somebody made a really good point about, never saying thank you to the, people that donated $280,000. Don't know who they were, but you don't even have you have the audacity to not even say, hey guys, this is what we did. It could be better if we tried it a different way, but this is the way we're going. And this is how we did. It is awesome. Thank y'all. But no, it was. Go ahead, Zach. I think this is a good time to put up Dan Yoakum's comment because I'm going to say some stuff that I don't want to.
I was going to say, I'm going to put it up and I'm going to put it down. After that.
So I think it's pretty obvious that Barry Odom was the head coach when he was here, and Pittman was just the face of the program. But apparently, Petrino isn't interested in being the head coach anymore. So Pittman doesn't have anybody to lean on when he doesn't know what to do. So it's just I don't know. Here's the thing, okay? Bobby P is not here to be the coach in waiting. So everybody that thinks he's the coach in waiting and all this other crap, get over it because it ain't happening. It's not happening. He's only interested in calling the offense. Because if he wanted to be a head coach again, do you know how many offers he got in the offseason? Several. Bobby P does not want to be head coach again. And number two, he can't be head coach again at the University of Arkansas. They wrote the rule about it.
So, do you want to start wrapping up our arguments?
Yes. Wait. Let me curveball this for you a little bit. There, in defense of Pittman, there is a couple of differences coming into this season. One, his coaching staff is actually halfway set. He doesn't have to worry about another Enos meltdown. Furthermore, he had that surgery, so he's not walking around in constant pain. And we all know that when you're in pain like that, your brain's not working right. So it could provide a whole different mindset and different clarity for him. So it could potentially turn him into a better coach.
I don't know if that was a Joe Biden reference or not, but we.
No. That was legit. That was legit.
Shut up, Dylan. Okay, I can probably see where you're coming from with the staff because he didn't have to replace many. Okay, especially his coordinators. So that's a plus. I'll give you that. But the other problem is Arkansas went out and hired a GM for the entire program. Here's the problem with that. He doesn't have NFL experience. He doesn't have football experience. He's an NBA guy.
It transfers over, man.
Well, okay, but look at it this way. Okay. We've given up on football, so we're putting everything into the basketball program. Calipari, John Tyson giving $30 million for NIL and then bringing in an NBA GM. Come on, man. Connect the dots.
Attaboy.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that. Attaboy. If I was a billionaire, I'd give that much money to the university too. But
look at connect the dots, dude. Connect the dots. They released the schedule right after the season was over for next season. Okay. We're the only school that did it. Number 2. What was the other one that I saw? Oh, they waited to cancel the spring game 2 hours before it was supposed to kick off.
That was sorry. That was really sorry.
When everybody else went ahead and canceled. Look, do I need to make a freaking list? Come on, dude.
I'm just talking about the fact that the man's not walking around half crippled anymore.
It doesn't matter. The administration has given up on the football team and invested everything into basketball.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
So,
a blind Indian on a drunk monkey could figure that out. Yeah, I said it. I said it. And I meant what I said. I'm not looking at everything around the program when I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at more of the X's and O's of it. You know, I'm talking about Taylon Green growing. You know, this year, if we get to 7 wins in the regular season, would you consider that a successful season at this point? Or are you going to... You want my honest answer?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so you're also one of the guys that will never be satisfied.
No.
So what needs to happen
8 wins
for you to be So he needs to win 8 wins this year to keep his job.
Well, no, because he doesn't. If you look at the track record, he doesn't have to win more than 5.
Okay, let's take this eyeball test.
You're a check. Look, you're a check is not going to fire him.
Okay, so we get 7 wins. We start kind of building momentum at the end. Okay. Are you going to be okay? Let's see what happens again next year. Or are you completely out? Do you want Sam Pittman gone? That's where this comes down to.
He's gonna have to hit 8 wins in order to win me back. Literally.
So if he gets to 7 wins, do you want him gone?
Now you're just talking regular season. You're not talking
right
overall.
Let's just say regular season.
You're not talking. Okay. Here's the problem with that, and here's why I'm not satisfied with that. Okay.
You don't have to be satisfied. You don't have to go, yeah, we won 7 games. You can go look at the season as a whole.
I was a little overexcited, weren't you?
Well, you can look at the season as a whole and be like, okay, we expected. How many wins are you and MC expecting? 3, 4?
Yeah, I've got
that's
4.
Just unrealistic, man.
I've got 4 and 8.
That's unrealistic.
Is it though?
It is. We don't have Dan Enos as a play caller.
Okay, but if you can't, if you can't recruit offensive players,
how are we not recruiting offensive players?
7 wins regular
season. We literally have the fastest person in the SEC right now.
And if you can't throw him the damn ball, what good's he gonna do?
Dude, you're locked in on last year.
Tell me what I'm supposed to.
Oh wait, what if it's 7 wins and a few really close ones, like a couple heartbreakers? Does that make a difference?
Here's the thing, and I know we got to wrap up because we're in overtime, and I get that. And we may do a pod on this to keep to expand a little bit further. JP said, by the way, what's up, JP? JP says 7 wins regular season, 8 wins with a bowl game. That I mean, that would be that would be expectation. But it depends. Okay, if you're depending on a Louisiana Tech team to get you to bowl eligibility,
you won't be relying on that because we don't have a single out of conference game after Notre Dame.
And that's why I think we're not going to make 6 wins. Because the backside of that schedule is all SEC heavy.
Are you afraid of Auburn or Mississippi State?
Mississippi State, not so much.
So, are you afraid of Auburn?
You know how I feel about Auburn.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. Our schedule's not super difficult. Yeah, we have an SEC schedule. Everybody does. Everybody has an SEC schedule.
You said that last year and the year before, and we barely got to 6 wins.
No, I said that we would get to about 7. If you remember, I started out. I think I started out with us going 4-1, and I mixed up Oklahoma State and Auburn.
You went so freaking close, dude. I freaking sick. Anyway,
I'm telling you, you need to listen to me sometimes.
We're gonna. What'd you say? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Let me just get
on
this
more
out.
levels than one.
That I'm leaving.
I said
alone.
All right, so that's all right. Wait, before I get myself into an even bigger hole here. Okay, so we're gonna do a pod on this to expand a little bit further because we're out of time. All right. But we're gonna be back again next week with another debate topic. If you guys have a topic you want us to debate, hit us up on our inbox, send us an email, insidethehogpen@gmail.com, or shoot me a text. Shoot me a text. See if you guys paid attention during the show. Other than that, final thoughts as we get out of here. We'll start with the wise man.
First off, one that we've had to kind of ignore all night. Cindy, SGA, NBA MVP, Thunder up. You damn right. Second, I'm actually kind of halfway after this talk looking forward to football season. I couldn't say that before this show, but whichever one of y'all wins this debate, you'll still be a better one above the stadium than KJ Jefferson.
That's not where I thought he was going to go with that.
Golly. Cold-blooded.
Hey, we're taking the gloves off, man.
That's okay. You'll be the one in the stands, too. Now, go ahead. No.
Wow.
Jesus.
God. Anyway, D-Man, final thoughts as we get out of here tonight.
The word of next year's football season will be growth. That is the number one word. How has this team grown over a year underneath Bobby Petrino, under Eric Mateos? And, here's another thing. Nobody's talked about the defense. You want to know why? Because everybody was concerned about the defense last year coming in because nobody knew anybody in the secondary. Nobody
Still don't
knew
know anybody in the secondary.
They have recruited well in the secondary. Every time that they get a recruit in the secondary, I'm like, God, another? But they are deep in the secondary. But the
your mom coming in clutch.
I'm gonna block my mom.
That just one comment of the night. That was beautiful, Miss Cindy.
This year has to be about growth and building on what we did last year. And it's got to be growth for Talon. And if Talon doesn't work out, hey,
next man
it's going to cost. I mean, there's a lot of pressure riding on this season. And the players know that. The coaches know that. Everybody knows that. And, it comes down to the fact of what is Bobby P's number one phrase when he was at Arkansas?
We didn't
Do your job.
Oh,
Nothing about motorcycles there.
I thought it was we didn't come to paint.
Oh, and ring the bell. Ring the bell. It was when you did your job. You came in and you rang the bell because you did the best you could.
Wait, was it ring the bell or we didn't? I thought it was we didn't come to paint. Who was that?
Well, they had come ring the bell. They had a bell, but Bobby Petrino also talks like somebody else we know.
Easy there, buddy. All right, so good, healthy debate. I loved it. Had fun with it. I still don't think Arkansas is going to do diddly crap in football, but I could be wrong. I'm just not looking forward to eating that biscuit covered in Nutella. So, that being said, hope everybody has a great weekend. Do not forget. Kill the music. I'm not done yet. Do not forget, Friday morning, 10 a.m., 101.1 FM, The Answer. However, the last one I want to say, and this is my final thought of the night, all right? It's Memorial Day weekend. You guys know I'm a veteran of the United States military. And this, it's one of the big things for me. Here's the thing. You guys have fun this weekend. You guys stay safe this weekend, whether you're going to the lake, whether you're having a barbecue, whatever you guys do, do not forget to raise a glass of your favorite drink to the guys, the men and women that couldn't make it home. That's why we do. That's why we get to have the freedoms that we have. All right. It's not just another freaking Monday. It's not just another holiday. It's one of the most important holidays that we've got to remember. The men and women that didn't come home gave us. So, that being said, for Dylan D. Madden, for Wise Guys, Loki DeWitt, I'm Razorback Zach. You have been listening to an all-new episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. Until next time, so long, everybody.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. Listen anytime on your favorite podcast provider and be sure to follow us on all our social network channels.